So we have some brand new updates coming up for Division 2, including of course a maintenance tomorrow and some fixes for some of the problems that players have been reporting since the new update went live. Of course, this was all announced in the newest State of the Game livestream that has just finished being wrapped up literally a few minutes ago. Nonetheless, there's some exciting stuff on the horizon and some new bug fixes, but also some new content coming up. So I'm going to go over a brief summary of everything that has been talked in this livestream, and I'm going to start things off with what the livestream also started, and that is the fact that today is your last chance to get the free event cash keys, and you can do so by simply logging in the game. If you don't know this, probably you should know by now, but there's this event where you can pretty much get keys, and with these keys you can open some chests that will give you unique rewards, including of course the cosmetics, and these cosmetics are really awesome, and you can also get them by simply completing the weekly project. You will get 3 keys, but for those who are logging in between the time the update went live and today, or well tomorrow depending on your time zone, you will get an additional 1, 2, 3 or maybe even 4 keys for free, depending on the edition of the game that you have and depending if you have the season pass. So go ahead, log in, check them out, and you should probably have them if you haven't checked them already. Nonetheless, let's move over to some of the fixes, because this is something that a lot of people have been complaining about, and I'm gonna start things off with the chatter, the NPC chatter, specifically the ones coming up from vendors. Every time you get close to vendors, they always keep saying the same thing over and over again, like every second or so that is also getting fixed. Giving resources to control point officers was adjusted to be faster. Hopefully this will be in the next update. Daily hard mode and challenge missions had an exploit, and basically what this meant is that you could relog and it would reset pretty much the timer and you would be able to redo them. So that was hot fixed actually over the weekend when some of the missions have been turned off, but if you checked in game for the past day or so, they have been reactivated and you can go ahead and complete them once more. Another big issue reported by players was the fact that there is no special ammo dropping for signature weapons, and that is actually not intended. This wasn't a nerf, it's just a bug with the drop rate, so this issue should get fixed as soon as tomorrow after the maintenance. Another one is for the fast travel to the castle settlement. This was also not working. In the upcoming hotfix that should be addressed. There's some discussions about disconnecting issues during PvP, and that is also being looked into. Another one is for the players who are unable to find all of the ivory keys. In case you're one of the players who are unable to get, for example, the last ivory key in order to open up the chest at the White House, then this should also be fixed quite soon. The T-pose fix, which is something that is plaguing probably everybody's game right now, is also coming up with a new client patch as soon as possible, and this update would be called 2.1. So it's not going to be in a hotfix tomorrow. This bug is much more complicated, so it requires a client patch, not just, server-side changes. This means that only with the new update will we see any fixes for these problems. The crafting bench not being able to be upgraded, this also won't be seen with the hotfix tomorrow, but actually in the new update 2.1. This problem should have been fixed in part, at least in the newest update, but unfortunately for a lot of players it wasn't. It's still a bug that persists for many, and yeah, you won't be seeing the fix in the next, couple of days, but by next week they should definitely be coming up with the newest update. Another one is for the character getting completely stuck when dying and being revived. It probably happened to a lot of you guys, especially for those who are getting revived by their hive revivers. Well, that is something that should be getting addressed, but of course this isn't something that affects just that situation. According to the live stream, it's been reported that there's actually multiple situations where this bug can occur, so of course it's going to take a little bit of time to flash all of them out. Maybe the full fix will not come with even the upcoming updates, maybe it will take some time to fully, fix, but in the meantime, at the very least, you should expect some incremental changes, so you should see more improvements along the way. Another one is for the True Patriot 2 set piece, and in case you weren't aware of this, the True Patriot 2 set piece currently is not applying at all, so there's an issue with that. It's being looked into, but again, it's not really certain if this is going to be coming up tomorrow or with update 2.1. Now moving on to one of the biggest problems that have been discussed in the past week, and I also made a video on this if you want to go ahead and check them out, and yeah, there's been a lot of talk about it, but yeah, this is in terms of balancing of some of the gear sets in the game, some of the exotic weapons as well as the skill power, and there's a lot of problems with that. A lot of the gear sets are pretty much useless, especially so with the new gear sets like the Patriot set that has been introduced very recently, but there's also some other problems with some of the exotic guns not working properly, and even more so skill power being almost completely useless unless you really want to create a very odd build. Nonetheless, more balancing is being planned on the way. This is not something immediate, this will take quite a little bit of time to test out, but there's some good news in this regard, because Division 2 is also going to have and receive a private test server. The way it's gonna be set up is that this will only be for PC players using Uplay, and you will be able to see a download separate for the test realm, and you'll be able to download it and test whatever patch is incoming before it goes on the full live servers. So PTS is expected to come up next Wednesday, so that is a good thing. It should drop before the new title update. It will require an additional installation, so you will have to have 2 games separately and log in with the same account. Now, speaking of the new title update, we have the raid incoming with title update number 3, but again, this won't be available on the private test server for really simple reasons, and that is because the developers don't want it to spoil it to players, so you won't be able to test out the new raids up until they fully go live for everybody at the same time. Nonetheless, let's move over to some of the other fixes, and another one was for the hyper aggressive AI. As you may or may not know, on the challenge difficulty, the AI kinda goes a little bit haywire and kinda fights a little bit too hectic. It always charges you in, it always tries to flank you, they almost never seem to stay behind cover, and that is actually a bug in the way the AI works, as in they see a difference between your power level and their power level, and they consider, you being easy to take on, so that is why they're charging in so much. So there's no immediate fix for that, unfortunately. There's still going to be incremental changes as time goes by, but it's something that the developers are looking into, and you should expect some improvements in the near future. Another issue is for the players with a power level of 500 and above, still seeing items of lower power levels still dropping for them. So for example, if you're 500 and above, and you might still see items with, let's say, 495 still dropping for you. Of course, this is still being looked into, but the way it was talked about, well, it looks like it's a little bit intended. So at the very most, I don't think we're gonna see a full fix for this. At best, we will see some readjustments, but nothing too major, so you might still see, below 500 power level items still dropping for you, even though you might be way beyond 500 at that point. Nonetheless, DirectX 2 crashes is something that a lot of players have been reporting. It seems to be affecting Nvidia users the most. Honestly, for me, it didn't affect me at all so far, so I guess I'm the lucky one, but it's something that is going to require a driver update, and the team has been working close with Nvidia to bring up a new update, hopefully really soon. So whatever this driver is, hopefully it will drop within the next, couple of weeks and fix the full issue with DirectX 12. Finally, there's a couple more being discussed, and one of them is the reset timers for everything in the game, like boxes, activities, projects, and all of that. Currently, they seem to all be on their own timers, which means that it's really hard to track all of them, but the plans for the future is to have all of this streamlined and make it all on a unique reset timer, so all of them are on the same reset timer, which means that you will no longer have to keep track of every single individual piece of activity or box that you opened up. So yeah, hopefully this will drop really soon. Now, one of the things that I wanted to see mentioned, which unfortunately wasn't, at least not that much, is in regards of the blue mods. Currently, blue mods are much better than anything else in the game, to the point that it's not really useful for you to even use anything above blue rare quality. So those 500 item level modifications that you had, well, they seem to not be as useful as the lower level ones. So there's no incoming fix for this, but it is something that the team is looking into balancing at some point, and hopefully will be coming as soon as soon as next week with the new private test server, but nothing is set in stone, and as I've said, there hasn't been too much talk about this. So a lot of the major issues, I feel like they have been not talked about too much. So far it's mostly been about some smaller issues that, most players can live with. But again, there's going to be some major updates coming up within the next few weeks. A new title update, of course the new raid and the private test server. Now there's something that I should have mentioned previously in the video, but I forgot unfortunately. Nonetheless, I'm going to mention it right now, and that is the fact that there's going to be a post tomorrow talking about skill power and the plans that the team has in regards of this stat. So yeah, hopefully there's going to be some more focus on it, because currently it's, quite the underdog. But yeah, we'll wait and see for tomorrow, and I will update on that a little bit more when that happens. Also, I forgot to mention the fact that armor and HP scaling is going to be looked into. This is not going to be in update 2.1, more like 2.3, so it's pretty far off. It's going to happen in like probably a few more weeks, maybe even months. So yeah, we're gonna have to do a little bit more waiting in the meantime. That is it though for today. That is it with the updates. Tell me what you guys think. What is the feature that you want to see fixed the most in this game? And in the meantime, also leave a like on this video. Subscribe to the channel for more awesome content on Division 2, and I'm gonna see you guys next time.